Clinton, Iowa. Now it's time for the Gary Russen program, discussing what's in the news, sports, and other things happening in the world. And now, you can talk to Gary live at 563-613-4260. And hello everyone, I'm Gary J. Russen. Welcome to the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online. Yeah, my sister kept telling me, told me the other day about me being technically savvy. Yeah, something about that. Not always. Sometimes I have these little technical problems where I get started because I don't check my levels before I go on. But here I am. Welcome aboard the Gary Russen program on GJRB Online here on Spreaker across America and around the world. And, this is where it happens. And our new number, as I was trying to do, and I have to make a new opening for this show now because I changed our phone number for call-in. So now I have to redo everything and fix my number. So I'm going to be working on that one pretty quick. Make sure that I change my station's phone number. 563-613-4260 is the number for this program. The Gary Russen program. Hello everyone. Welcome aboard the program. The Gary Russen program. Freestyle Friday. No limits. Just great talk on a Friday afternoon. I hope you have a great show today. We got a good program lined up for you today, as we're talking about yesterday's debate, another Republican GOP debate. We'll talk about that. Also, some wild weekend weather, both storms on the northeast and severe thunderstorms and tornadoes to the south. What's going on with our weather? It's been nice here in Iowa. We've had temperatures in the 40s, mid-50s. Supposed to get a little bit better. It's so warm. Storm system maybe coming in next week with some cold weather. But otherwise. And this morning, my wife and I, got up, wife and I had breakfast and was watching the new updated Fuller House. Interesting show. We'll talk about this as it goes along. It's kind of in a way, the first episode kind of brought back some memories. All the older characters coming back, but it's aiming for a female audience here. But we'll talk about that coming up. Also, one schedule change reminder, up-and-coming podcast was scheduled for this weekend to be published on my Spreaker public site here on Spreaker, and on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And YouTube channel is being postponed again this week. Had some great family gathering yesterday at McDonald's here in Clinton, so I kind of didn't have time to really finish up that podcast. I had one more hour to record before I put it up. So basically, I just need to put it up when it's done. And so I'm thinking that possibly be this week for sure. I have to record it probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on how my schedule limit. But it'll probably be somewhere within the Tuesday or Wednesday when I'll be recording that. The last hour of Up and Coming. And remember, just because Up and Coming is off the air and we're not going to do it no more for a while, at least for a while, until I get a whole crop of enough brand new music to cover a 2-hour time slot, Up and Coming is going away for a while. And we're going to do a new format, which Up and Coming is going to be the new GJRB format. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be a brand new format on this radio station. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the heavy moderate, and light rotation for all my songs. It'll be like those 3 main rotations, plus an add-on envelope on the computer here. And that's where I'll put in new songs, new releases. And if I do get a pile of them, brand new stuff, I will have an up-and-coming show back. But for now, it's going to be a regular format here on GJRB. It's going to be a regular music format. It's going to be the up-and-coming, or what they call emerging music format. And I'm going to play all new songs, all brand new music, and I will play it for you right here. So all new artists all the time, emerging artists. It's the whole idea behind up and coming, promoting new artists all the time. But the format will be basically songs that we played on past 7 up and coming shows, and new artists into a regular music format with regular music rotation. And it'll be the main format of this station all the time. So whenever we play music on here, it's going to be up and coming. And all the ones we played, and the songs that get played the most go into heavy rotation. And some of the songs that are just starting out playing usually go into a add-ons, and it goes into light. More it plays, it goes into moderate. And then heavy play is usually broadcast on almost every show and could be heard, or at least every broadcast, and be heard. A song will be heard maybe every couple hours or so. So that's when it becomes a heavy rotation, when it's more popular. And this is a lot of it's based not really on the popularity of the song that I get requests for, because I really don't get any requests on here. Not yet, anyway. I might open up requests on my live show, like Gary J in the afternoon. I'll be telling you about that later. It's in my spring spectacular. I'll be having Gary J in the afternoon with a lot, just the regular music format, and be playing and taking requests, even. So that's coming up, and I'll be telling you about that more. So. Like I said before, up and coming, one last hour getting recorded this week, and then I'll upload it. So watch your Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus channels for post, because it's going to be postponed. Watch it though. I'll have it up next weekend, and I'll give you the podcast rundown later. In addition, GJRB schedule update. I'll be recording that this week too. Brand new GJRB schedule update podcast, giving you an update on our schedule plans, and that I've changed a little bit of it. Decided to cut the month down a little bit, because what was happening was that I was, let's say I was cramming. You cram for an exam, and you think you're going to do pretty darn good, but you end up with 75%. Oh, we all did it. Okay, we all did it. Cramming for an exam, we all did it. But this is kind of like that, slamming everything and trying to get everything done before airtime is really, really getting on the stressful level to me. And I love this radio station and doing it, but I think it comes to a point where I sit and say, well, maybe it's time I kind of lighten the load a little bit on myself and give myself a little bit more time to put programs together. And so I've decided it's time to cut down a little bit on how much I put up on a regular basis. How much programs that I schedule, and I schedule them sometimes too close together. And when that happens, I end up slamming to get shows done. So next Friday, I'm going to be planning on, and I scheduled next Friday since I was on this new plan, but I remember the first 2 weeks of the month, because I'm starting at the top of March. I've changed my mind about that. I'm going to start broadcasting. I'm not going to start broadcasting again back on the schedule, because this is again another alternate broadcast month. That means all programs are subject to change and are also on a to be announced basis, which gives me a chance to add programs on. And with that in mind, I added a way out there for next Friday afternoon, 4 o'clock Central. 4 o'clock, 2 o'clock Central on March 4th. I looked at 4 on my calendar there, and I said that by mistake. I meant to say 2 o'clock March 4th, and that is subject to change. So it depends on how much I get done for that program. And basically, it's a leftover of the last Way Out There show I did about a month ago. So I'm looking at the I'm looking at that. In fact, I think what was the last Way Out? No, it wasn't a month ago. About February 19th when we did that. So I'd say about 2 weeks ago when we did the last Way Out There. So I'm looking at a tentative March 4th date, but for any reason whatsoever that I have to pull that show due to not being ready for it, I might end up doing that. And just watch your GJRB Spreaker site for program change announcements. Okay, so just to be there, just to let you know that that's how that's going to work. I plan it that way so that you have an idea that exactly what is coming up. So I'm just telling you because I believe that that with the program change announcements, it's important to kind of schedule those so that I'm always ready for it. I'm always ready for my programs instead of, like I said, sometimes me staying up almost half the night show prepping when I could really do a lot better if I were, and a lot more alert and not so tired the next day if I get the programs done in advance, which would give me more time to do that if, again, I'm not cramming for a program. The only thing I should do in a very short time is getting weather together, maybe sound bites for stories, and sitting down and looking at my late-breaking stories and putting them together so that I have a decent program, but I'm not hustling to get things done. And that's the whole idea behind that, to make this show a lot more fun to do. So I'm working on that one. And I'm sure that I can pull that off. So meantime, it's time to tell you what we do here on a Friday edition, a Freestyle Friday edition of the Gary Russen program, because it's time now for that. As a matter of fact, like I said before, I'll watch for the rundown. And like I said, next week I'll be recording that podcast for Up and Coming last hour and a GJRB schedule update next week. But for right now, though, I am going to talk about the news. Because as I've told you many times before, here on GJRB Online, here on Spreaker, that my program always starts with true news and comment, and it continues through the entire Gary Russen program. And to start off, and because I'm filling time until my callers come in, you know what I'm saying? So here's what's going on, some of the stories that we're going to be talking about here on GJRB Online on News and Comment. First off, in the daily news, we're going to take a look at a federal court which is upholding pro-life women's health law. Lawmakers brand brotherhood to terrorist, and is chocolate good for the brain? These are some news headlines wrapped up I'll be giving you, and we'll be talking about from one of our newest sources here on Gary Russen program, CBN. So that's one of our newest sources here. Also from CBN News, an interesting story about from Utah, declaring that porn. They want to declare that porn be a public health crisis. Okay, and CBN News reporting on an interesting story on that, and a real good, interesting interview over that. You want to hear that? And from Lou Dobbs, did you hear about this one? They are they are taking a look at and questioning Donald Trump's taxes. Talk about that. And yesterday's debate. We'll get on that one too. I've heard a lot about before I came on the air today. And I gotta say, it must have been an interesting. I didn't get a chance to hear it last night. But I've been listening to a lot of the talk over AFR over it before I started today. And wow. And I'll have a matter of opinion and all that. So without further ado, we're going to get started on Gary J's news and comment here on GJRB online, on Spreaker, across the country and around the world, and wherever you may be, right here on GJRB, here on Spreaker. It is the Gary Russen program, and I'm glad to be here with you today. Friday show. One we haven't had for a while. Freestyle Friday. It means anything goes. Whatever happens, happens right here on GJRB. So let's get started on this right now. True news. News that's not in the mainstream. And let's get started with some of those interesting stories from CBN. Look at the rundown of some of the interesting stories that we'll be talking about throughout the afternoon. Things going on that we want to talk about. So we're going to get started on this.
This is your CBN News Minute. I'm Dale Hurd. A federal appeals court has upheld a Louisiana law that requires doctors at abortion clinics to have admitting privileges at hospitals within 30 miles. Opponents say the law makes it hard for women to get abortions. Supporters say it actually protects women who develop complications from an abortion. The House Judiciary Committee has approved legislation calling on the State Department to label the Muslim Brotherhood a foreign terrorist organization. If it becomes law, the U.S. would deny admittance to people who are tied to the Brotherhood but aren't U.S. citizens, and banks could be required to block Brotherhood transactions. And here's some good news. Chocolate can help you think better. A new study says that people who eat more chocolate have better cognitive abilities. Oh yeah. That's your CBN News Minute. I'm Dale Hurd, CBN.
Fascinating. Wow. Now they're saying that chocolate is brain food. Eat more chocolate, get more smarter, huh? How about that one? And the Muslim Brotherhood, considered a terrorist group. Wait a minute, that's not news, folks. It's old news. I mean, the Muslim Brotherhood, as far as I'm concerned, has been a terrorist group, and guess who's one of them? Our very own president. Think about that one. All right, and let's see. We got another interesting story coming up here. This story is interesting. It was with a report that, according to the state of Utah, the state Senate there voted this week to declare that pornography be a public health crisis. Part of a growing recognition of pornography, a major health issue, and they're finding out that how to protect children from online predators as well. And
more is Donna Rice Hughes, the president of Enough is Enough. She has been fighting pornography for years. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Donna, why are people becoming so concerned about pornography that they're declaring it a public health crisis? Is there something new that we've discovered about it?
Actually, there isn't anything new, but what has happened is that when internet pornography began to become mainstream in the 90s, research began to be done about was this a problem and why is it a problem, and now we have an entire body of peer-reviewed science that shows that, for instance, pornography is sexually exploiting children, that it's highly addictive. Many of these kids that are being exposed are actually imitating what they see. We know that it leads to violence against women. It's fueling the sex trafficking industry. Just 2 years ago, 56% of divorces, one or more spouse had a problem with internet pornography. So there are many, many issues now that have started to coalesce.
That's really fascinating. So we actually have the science now that shows the danger. And by declaring it a public health crisis, what is the hope behind that strategy?
Well, the hope behind that strategy, and let me just say this was a well thought out strategy, a handful of leaders, including myself, 2 years ago got together and said, how can we elevate this issue to where it starts to get attention, that it's not just about morality and sexuality and all these other things, but that we can really begin to show the science that is proven now, the very real concerns that we have related to internet pornography. So this was a strategy that was very well thought through. And so many groups, including ours, have been putting out this information, and the latest move by Utah was actually a proposed resolution declaring it a public health issue, and this is the first legislative body that has dealt with it at this level, and you can already see that now it has increased and elevated the dialogue to a level where it should be, where we're looking at this very seriously and scientifically and going, okay, now how are we going to deal with it?
So what is next in Utah at this point? Do you expect the state house and the governor to follow the Senate's lead?
Well, it's anyone's guess, of course, when it comes to Congress, but we're hoping that they will. The good news is that Utah is very faith-based community, a very faith-based state. Utah has more children per capita than any other state, and so much of the science now shows the damage on children, and specifically the brain science, how this material is actually rewiring the brain, not only of children but also of adults. So it's
so fascinating that, well, now Utah might just have that much more kids. But wow, that is what they're going to do in Utah. And you know, this is a state that you know, is populated a lot by Mormons, and they have their strong religious belief, and it's wrong, and pornography is wrong. You know, it's wrong in, you know, all counts. And maybe this law takes off in Utah. More than likely, we might see it here in many other states across the country. They might follow suit, but you know, that's a good thing. Let's get let's call that what it is. It's not good for the health and well-being of kids. All right, we're going to have more coming up on this, including a story in Charlotte. Franklin Graham calls Charlotte transgender bathrooms ordinance a very, very shameful, because what they're doing is letting, this is in the South, I believe, Charlotte, and they're saying that now that they're going to let transgender bathrooms in there. So we're going to talk about that coming up, and more, including some sports, quick sports. We'll have that coming up. But right now, though, we're going to do a quick weather on the fives right now. So let's see what's going on with the weather lately here on GJRB. Like I said before, we've had some strange weather over the past couple weeks. Just recently, Chicago, you guys have been dumped with a lot of snow. And then further south, tornadoes. As a matter of fact, Pensacola got slammed with a tornado. Did some raw property damage. And I was looking at some of that last night. Terrible down there. Pensacola, Florida got a really bad tornado down there and destroyed a lot of property. And I'll be talking about that here in just a little bit. There looks like tornadoes in the south, and still a lot of bad weather to our north, with a lot of snow and stuff. Now over here in the Quad Cities, we've been getting really nice weather. Tomorrow it's going to be 56 degrees. 56 degrees here in Clinton, Iowa tomorrow. It's going to be warm. It's going to be nice tomorrow. Decent weather for a change. It's going to be great. And so we're going to talk about that here. No, it's not what I wanted. Okay, that's what I wanted. Here we go. Let's see. Go to NOAA maps here. Okay, that's what I wanted. Okay, some of the temperatures that we're going to do here is take a look first at our national weather. There is, like I said, an approaching cold front. It's going to bring some rain to the west coast from Washington State to Northern California by evening. Warmer and breezy conditions will move into the western plains states on Saturday, with record high temperatures as possible in some areas, and conditions may enhance for spread of wildfires. So watch out for that, and I'll keep an eye on that one for you. And we'll also be giving you all our regional and national temperatures along the way too, on the Gary Russen program here on GJRB. And we'll continue with this show. We got a lot more coming up in the next half hour. Stay with me. Coming up, more, including a story I said on Franklin Graham. He said calling that Charlotte transgender bathrooms ordinance very shameful. And Lou Dobbs on a report talking about how they're examining Donald Trump's taxes. And we're going to talk a little bit about some weather news. Again, we'll have weather on the fives, of course, every hour. Weather on the fives, either at 15, 25, 45, or 55 minutes past the hour here on GJRB Online here on the Gary Russen program. And we do that just to bring you all the news, all the weather, all the information you need to know, keep you informed and entertained here on GJRB Internet Radio. All right, well, I'll tell you what we're going to do right now, though. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to run in that break and be right back. Got more good stuff and a lot of really interesting things to talk about here on the Gary Russen program, here on GJRB Online, on Spreaker, wherever you may be across America. Glad you could be aboard. Thanks a lot for listening. Hope you're enjoying the show. After 1 year, the wait is over. Now join Pastor Ron Johnston and a panel of men and women to discuss the news and how it lines up with Bible prophecy. In this world of chaos and upheaval, this is the program that puts it all into perspective. How will we survive? God only knows. So trust Him and listen to the last 7 days. Uploaded as a podcast or live every third Friday at 12 o'clock noon Central on GJRB. We all run a busy schedule, and maybe we don't have time to catch the Gary Russen program. Well, here's the solution. The best of the Gary Russen program, highlighting the most memorable parts of recent shows. Each podcast I will play clips of previous shows and talk about them. Watch for podcast uploads during the GJRB's podcast weekend on GJRB's public site on Spreaker. Reflecting on the past memories of past shows. The best of the Gary Russen program on GJRB.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else. Clone.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
Okay. We'll be right back with more of the Gary Russen program. Stay with me. More to come on GJRB.